lot of money. A lot of money. How do you keep falling short of your goals? You're so successful at doing that. If it's still calling to me, if I still want to do it, okay, it may be worth pursuing.
Welcome, everyone, to your Mindset Mastery class with your professor, me, Laura Catella. Today, we are going to do some work. We're going to co-work and collaborate together on stuff that we might not do if we weren't forced into it and if we were left to our own devices. And I hope the exercise that we go through together is useful to you. I have done this with different clients of mine and different folks in different contexts, and it has proven useful before, sometimes actually more than any other exercise. Folks cry. Folks cry for this one for good, surprising reasons. I should have included, I have pictures of people crying from it, but all right, can we all see my meme? Did that inspire a chuckle? This one made me laugh. Laughter, so important. There is no context for this meme. It is not related. I don't have a grander story about facing your fears and joining your grandpa at Red Lobster, other than cheddar baked biscuits. Am I right? So, what are we doing today? This exercise is inspired by one important concept, and I will teach this concept via a story about who else other than Michael Jordan. 1998, Jordan and the Bulls, Game 6 against the Utah Jazz. Final 30 seconds of the game. They are down by 1 point. And if they win this game, they win the championship. And if they don't, they have to play the Jazz again on their home court. So what happens? Let's take a look at the final minute of that game. I have the clip here. Be aware that this was filmed in 1998 after all, so the quality is not the best, but we're going to watch this last 50 seconds or so and then talk about it a little bit.
Steal it. Here from Chicago, 17 seconds. 17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan, open. He gets Brian Russell with a quick crossover. Look at Brian Russell slips.
And they win the game. So it looks like, especially to, I'm no basketball expert or anything, but it looks like a fairly simple series of events. Yeah. And that shot that Jordan took is known as one of his last shots. It's a very famous, pull back, whatever, fade away jump shot. But what many folks don't know is that the shot was not as important as the steal that happened right before it. So let's just watch the steal one more time.
Ball is double. They swung and steal it. Here from Chicago, 17 seconds.
How was Jordan able to steal that ball? He was able to steal that ball because he had watched so many hours of the Jazz playing, and he knew the play they were about to run. And he knew that his opponent in that second, Malone, tended to look to the left when he received the ball in that position. And so Jordan was able to come up on the right and steal the ball. He noticed that pattern through watching so many hours of footage. And so he had the information. And the second part is he knew enough to be confident to take the risk in stealing the ball. Because had he fouled and his opponent would have gone to the free throw line, they probably would have lost the game if he fouled. But he knew enough to take the risk, steal it, no foul, and win the game. So the concept here is champions review the tape. They watch the tape. They look back. They see what they're up against. They see what they themselves do. Here's another story that I love. Wayne Gretzky. We all know the famous Gretzky quote, "Don't skate to where the puck is, skate to where it's going." But how did Gretzky always know where the puck was going? Do you know how? Most people don't. Ever since Gretzky was a kid and he would sit in front of the TV and watch hockey, he would hold a sheet of paper and a pen and he would trace where he sees the puck going on TV. Thousands of hours of doing that. Nobody told him to do it. He was just interested in it. He just wanted to do it. And so he observed so many patterns and it became so unconsciously ingrained in him that he became one of the best at knowing where the puck was going and skating to it. Champions review the tape. So today we will review some of our own tapes and get some takeaways out of it. So here's what we're going to do. You all have your phones, I assume, not far away. I mean, you didn't put them away for class. I mean, I know in our email we told you to have them out, lest you actually put them in a drawer away from you or something. But we're going to review our own tape because we probably have more tape than we realize. And so what we will do, I will share this link to this document that everybody can have. Actually, I'll leave you guys viewers. And then you can make a copy and have it for yourself for whenever you want to go through it. And what we will do is open our Photos app, okay? And we will scroll back to January of 2023. We'll do our year so far in review. We'll scroll all the way back in time, and then we'll start going forward in time. And you'll see in your document, you have a little space for each month of the year so far, where you will quickly jot down any photo, any video, any screenshot that you've taken that you swore you would look back at again. That gives you pause. And you'll get a quick note of where you were 5 months ago. What were you doing? What were you working on? Who were you with? Where did you live? Where did you travel to? What were those screenshots you took? A valuable lesson, a funny meme, whatever. And we will do this without any judgment. We will suspend the thoughts of, oh my God, I swore I was going to do this thing and I didn't. It's okay. It's a valuable lesson as we look back over our own tapes. After the space for each individual month of the year so far, there are a few prompts to help you categorize what you've compiled, right? So you see that it says, over the past 5 months, I learned, built, tried, gave up on, failed at, persisted with, accomplished, was surprised by, spent a lot of my time, and what made me feel good about myself. You, of course, do not need to have an answer for all of these, but whenever an answer comes quickly to you, let's assume there's some significance to that. And you will jot that down as well. After that, there's a ratings section where we can grade ourselves on our past 5 months so far. Given what you saw, your clarity on what you wanted to do this year, we all tend to kick off a new year with some goals, desires, objectives. How clear were we in those? Did we know what we were going after? How persistent were we in pursuit of what we wanted? How effectively did we communicate it to other people? Did your family know, I'm going to be working late to do this? Or did you leave them in the dark, right? No judgment. No judgment. There's no right or wrong. We're going to use our assessment of the past 5 months to our advantage, good and bad. Did you architect a roadmap? Did you take the planning time? Did you stretch yourself? When in the past 5 months have you gone out of your comfort zone? Were you efficient? Or did you do things the longer, harder way? It's okay if you did. I do that. I'm prone to that. And then we use our footage of the past to guide us into the future, the next 7 months of the year. How can the next 7 months be better? How can I be happier? How can I be more efficient? How can I be more clear? And of course, there's just a little note at the end of the document that this exercise will now be available to you forevermore. You can do it anytime, over any length of time. You can do it for a month. You can do it for a year. In the past, we've done it for a year, and that's where the tears tend to come out, right? People tend to notice, oh my God, I was on my bathroom floor crying a year ago. I have a video of it. And we so quickly forget those moments, right? Because we tend to feel like things are not happening fast enough. I want this and it's not fast enough. But if you look back 5 months ago, a year ago, you're like, oh, damn, a lot has happened much quicker than I can even realize. And so I will play us some not emo pop punk from the early 2000s, something a little bit more thinking friendly. And everybody made a copy of this document. Yeah, they'll be able to take some notes in there. All right, wonderful. And I'm going to do it right alongside you because I have not done it this year. And we will share the brave ones. We'll share any sort of takeaways, any lessons, any memories. And I'm sorry to those who are just joining us and missed the whole prelude to this exercise, but it's pretty self-explanatory, I think, once you get into the document that we have pasted in the chat here. So let's give us 10 minutes and we'll see how far we get. And if we need a few more minutes after that, we will take it. Sound good? Let me see some nods. Okay. Okay. Thank you guys for doing that with me. It takes a little bit of bravery, you know? It takes a little bit of bravery. This is often we either assume what our past output was like without objectively looking at the tape, or we only focus on the present moment, maybe the short-term future. We focus on what we haven't done without celebrating what we have. And so this simple, right? It's not a nuclear physics equation. The simple exercise stands to give us a little bit more clarity and perspective. And your photo reel is one place to gather some information, but there are others. Your social media accounts, your email inbox. They're all other places you can go to root around and pull up some of your own tape. So thank you for taking a little bit of time with me and doing that. I noticed some stuff. But I would like to open the floor to some of you guys to share anything that came to you, that you saw. Who's going to do it? Yes, Lynn, please.
Hey, thank you. That was an amazing exercise. So, what I found is I'm super hard on myself, like really super hard on myself. And having had a type A personality through the years, like it was always really easy to focus. And then all of a sudden I became like immersed in doing all this family stuff. And I kind of sort of didn't have to, because I was a single mom, I didn't have to. I decided to really be in the trenches with my kids, and I didn't put a lot of focus on me developing. I had a really good job. So all of a sudden now, like 2 of them graduated and they're all moving and they're all forging their own lives. And I don't like, the path is not already predetermined for me. Right. So now I'm just like, oh shit, I got to determine what am I going to do now, where I used to do that before I had kids, but it's been, almost 30 years since I've been doing that. And so now all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, no, you can't just like, this is now the time to kind of get back into exactly what do I want to do? How do I want to do it? What are the steps that I'm going to take? Because it's not predetermined by having the children to take care of. Does that make sense?
It does. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So that's what I'm looking at this going, ooh, yeah. Because if I'm not careful, it just all whittles away, the time. So that was my biggest takeaway on all this. So thank you. That was really kind of like, oof.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. And incubation periods like matter, and they have their own significance and value, even if we don't feel like it, because in the moment we may just feel like we're not doing anything. But really it's years of stuff that we have done, like crystallizing and building into their next forms in our body and in our world. And that's valuable and important and to be cherished. So thank you for sharing that, because that's a perspective we could all lose very easily. Stephanie.
Hello. Thank you for having us. This was amazing. I have to tell you, the biggest thing that kept popping up for me was boundaries. I really, really had to set boundaries. It was like I realized the chaos that was going on from January to February. And then in March, April, and May, I just really realized how deep I had to set boundaries with my family and in my business, because everything was mashed together and it was like chaos. And so when I started to enforce the boundaries, I lost people and I gained people, but I gained clarity, and it helped me to sign clients that I enjoy working with rather than that feast and famine of take whatever you get kind of thing, So that was huge. That was just huge. But it was really seeing the pictures and like the screenshots of all that chaos was overwhelming. I'll be honest. It was kind of like, wow, that was a lot. So it's great. I mean, it really is good, but it also made me realize I don't promote myself enough, and that has to happen,
Those are 2 incredible lessons. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us a little bit more about how you set the boundaries, what it looked like?
Oh, it was I absolutely was an enabler. of bad habits for my family. You know, I have 3 children, all now are adults. One is 19, the other one just turned 18. But it was chaos in the house all the time. Drama, chaos, just constant things. And I was always coming in to the rescue or coming in to say, no, you have to do it this way, without letting them find out they have to figure some things out on their own. And so I had to set the boundary of saying, no, I'm not going to rescue you. No, I'm not going to fix this problem. No, you need to go out and figure out, get a lift if you need a ride because you waited too long. Or, you know, instead of postponing a call with the client because, oh, I've got to take my child somewhere or something, that they're fully capable. But it was like, I made the excuse of, no, they have to get there. They waited too long. That's not my fault. You know, it was understanding I could do that. But then setting that same boundary with my clients of, yes, I'm here to serve you and support you, but you have to take accountability for your part of our contract as well. And that was not something I was doing. I was a yes person, consistent. Yes, yes, yes. And I had to say, no, I actually, and I hate that term, but fired a client because it just wasn't working. And that was really hard. But it was like, once I started, it was like, no, I'm going to do what's right for my business and what's right for me. And that was a lot. It's huge.
That is huge.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Why
Thank
do you
you.
dislike, now I'm just curious, why do you dislike the term firing a client?
I think it's it comes from my corporate and government work life before, you know, because I was in places where I had to fire or terminate people. It was something that I always felt very uncomfortable with, because you know you're affecting someone's life. I had to shift how I looked at it in the sense with where I'm at now of, no, I'm not making the choice to affect your life. I'm setting my boundary and you're not respecting my boundary. So I have to let you go to find someone else to work with that will align with you, because I don't align with this. So it was hard, that transition. I still struggle with it. I'm not going to lie. You know, I still sit there and go, but yeah, but they need me. But yet that really isn't serving them. And it isn't serving my thought of what my business is, you know. So it just was hard sometimes, you know. And I think it being the first time I've ever done it, I was like, oh my gosh, they're gonna hate me and now everybody's gonna know. And yeah, imposter syndrome.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you again for sharing that. And all of this is a dance. And, you know, so often like coaches and guru types want to say things are one way without accepting the complexity and the nuance, because part of this, you care, right? And I look at any situation and I'm like, okay, how could I have done it better? You know, what else could I have done? And there's just simply balance and nuance there, because I think there's always value and utility in turning it inward and asking, what else could I have done? While accepting the reality that, you know, it's not just me, you know, like there's another party, there is a client there, and they have to step up and do their side of the work too. And so, yeah, just living in the, hey, it's complicated and it's an ongoing dance and it's never really a straight line, point A to point B. And that's okay. We can own the complexity of that whole situation. And in my case, you know, like Alyssa Dillon, dear friend of mine, will say, you can't want it more than your clients. And that's true. Ultimately, my belief is that I can want it more for them, more than them, for a time. You know, if they're going through something and they're burning shit down and they're sabotaging or whatever it is, I can show up and want it for them more in that moment than they do for themselves and be that hand that pulls them out of the fire. But it can't be like that forever and ever in perpetuity, right? At some point, like it's got to flip and they got to take the hand and go with you. And another great analogy for it that I think of often that Joe Polish taught me is you're like a ship in the distance. It's like the Titanic has sank and there are people in the water and you're in a lifeboat, or rowboat, whatever. Who do you save? The people swimming towards you. The people swimming towards you, you know, rather than going out and getting the people who are willingly drowning. But all of that is an ongoing dance. And there's no one clear line. So thank you for opening up to that. And then, Stephanie, I'll ask you one more thing to try to crystallize promoting more, because this will be useful. What do you think? How are you going to do that?
I just have to go. I think I'm going to have to create more content, which I used to be a copywriter, so I don't know why that's hard for me, but it is. And creating more content. And I think going live, you know, and just really showing who I am and what I do, you know, I think that's a lot of it. It's that connection. Part of it for me, I think, is fear, you know, fear of what's going to come up. Well, you know, you can get a lot of negativity and you just have to push that aside. And I think that I can, and I have done it before. For some reason, I'm struggling in this season with it. And so it's just, I have to push past that uncomfortable space and just really just do it and go, you know, it is what it is. It's a hot mess and that's all right.
Yeah, Jay Abraham, I think it's him, says, the best marketing is what's on your desk.
Yeah.
So just sharing what you're doing right now and sharing the discomfort and the challenges. And if people are negative, that's a them. That's a them. Thank you. We have time for one more. Who else will share? Who didn't do it? Who just sat and like clicked stuff on their computer for?
I'll share a little bit. I don't know if I always end up having more to say than I think I do. I think it's so easy. You know, I'm pushing very hard to make big changes recently. And I think it's so easy to get bogged down, especially from month to month of like, oh, this month I have to push harder. And like, am I going to reach those financial goals that I even had last month that are bigger now? To look back and see how much has changed even since January, and my thought process in January of like where I thought my trajectory was going to go and like how fast I was going to be able to move was just really eye-opening to realize like it feels like I'm making these small steps, but when I look back just 5 months, they seem a lot bigger than they seem when I'm just thinking about them right now. So it was really good to have that reassurance, but even just like towards the end, like, well, how can I clarify more so that I see those same big steps moving forward, as opposed to the shoot from the hip approach that I normally take through life of like, okay, so I have more clarity. I know what's been successful now. Like, how can I capitalize on those things more in the future? Since at first it is just kind of throwing stuff out there and hoping something sticks. But now I know certain things that stick. So why am I not focusing on those things more? So some clarity around that.
It's a great realization. Thank you for sharing, Amy. And the goal's getting bigger. I mean, that's a win. That's a big win. That is awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I want to, if I have it handy. So we did this exercise at my last Diamond Day event, which was Diamond Day 3. And I am, if it's okay with you guys, quickly extend an invitation to Diamond Day 4. I am going to be inviting you guys to Diamond Day 4 a lot until the event happens in September. So let me just share my screen with some of the details of it. And I'm going to try to do something cool where I black it out and progress as I go so that we don't read ahead. Let's see, share this. Okay. So Diamond Day 4 will be in lovely, warm Phoenix, Arizona at the stunning Wigwam Resort from September 7th through the 10th. On September 7th and 8th, we work in the conference room together where myself and incredible speakers collaborate to evaporate what blocks you, help you ascend to the next level of your business and life. Other conferences are larger. You see speakers on stage and then they turn around and they leave. One of the things that makes Diamond Day different is that it is not that. Our speakers are on stage and then they rejoin the crowd. They sit at your table. They workshop stuff with you. They listen, they learn, they don't leave. They're not allowed to leave. They're not allowed to just like fly in, do a talk and leave, because how much value do you really get out of that? Like how much does it really stick versus getting Joe Polish's cell phone number, like having him available for you to text and ask him a question and him really wanting to be there. So some of the amazing folks in attendance, me, of course, the incredible Martha McSally will be there. Martha was the first woman to ever fly a fighter jet in combat. And she's going to talk, she's a badass, and she's going to talk about bravery, getting out of your comfort zone, dealing with imposter syndrome. She still deals with it. And she is going to also guide us on some sort of physical excursion of some sort, whether we're shooting guns or doing a crazy hike early in the morning before it hits 1,000,000 degrees. Martha will be there. She basically said, if you need to do something challenging, I'm your gal. I'm like, perfect. We do that. So Dan Nicholson, who will also be there. He was a big get. He's one of my personal mentors, founder of Nth Degree CPAs, author of the Wall Street Journal bestselling book, Rigging the Game. Incredible man. He's a hard get. And he's the one who taught me, yes, there's like level 1 of, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. But his level 2 to that is, well, if it's a no, can I make it a hell yes? What would it take to make it a hell yes? And then shooting for that. And knowing that he doesn't like to travel, he's got 3 daughters, I believe. He doesn't like to leave his family. I wrote a list and I sent it to Dan of what would it take to make this a yes? And I gave him all these bullet points, like I'll get copies of your book for everybody. I want you to do your craziest, most interesting material. You're going to have a great time, beautiful dinners, blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, okay, fine. Yes. So I'm honored and thrilled that he's going to be there with us. The incredible Emma Rainville, if you don't know her, operations genius, hirer of copywriters. She hires a lot of writers. So if you're a copywriter, she's somebody you want to know. Barton Scott, founder of Upgraded Formulas. And he's going to bring hair follicle tests for us to see what some of our nutritional deficiencies are. If you're interested in that, entirely optional. Because a lot of people talk about blood work, but what Barton teaches, the thing with blood is if your blood is deficient in some sort of mineral, it will leach it from your bones. And so you don't actually get all the information that might be useful to you from just your blood. So we're going to get some cool insights there. The one and only Joe Polish, my dear friend, he always comes in the interest of service and work. And you'll literally see him come up to me and be like, what do you want me to do? I'm here to work. And I'm like, isn't he cute? He works for me, but no, not really. But so just getting to connect with him is an amazing experience. And he's dubbed the most well-connected, one of the most well-connected men in the world. So whoever you need a connection to, Joe will probably be the guy to get that. And other incredible people, one of my other mentors, Nick Peterson, the lovely Alyssa Dillon, who many of you know. Kat Merritt also hires many people, so her name is good to have there. Chris Encarnacion, one of the best VSL producers in the world. Joel Weldon, my personal speaking coach. Andre Norman, who changes my life and the lives of many other people. And basically everyone who is there is incredible, in summary. And a few testimonials from past Diamond Day events. Alyssa saying I had to choose between getting my 2 Comma Club award at Funnel Hacking Live and Diamond Day. And I chose Diamond Day because I get more value. And the reason for that, again, these personal connections, exercises that really stick, things that really move the needle. And full disclosure, in compiling this document, I asked myself, like, why do people go to events? You know, like what do you go to an event for? And first of all, I would love to hear answers from other people. The answers I came up with are connection with the type of humans you want to be around, inspiration, yes, deal making, deal flow. And that happens robustly at Diamond Day because these fundamentals of connection and vulnerability are there. And it's not transactional like other larger events may be. No shade to them. I go to a lot of events. I love all of them. Speaking of deal flow, one deal I made at Diamond Day has brought me $3 million in revenue. I was Emma Rainville connecting to Perry Belcher, who will most likely also be in attendance. He's a big Diamond Day fan. Johanna Sanchez had $800 in the bank account. Now I have over 25 grand and no debt, and I bought a house. And she saw that when we did review the tape at Diamond Day 3, and she's not an emotional woman, you know, she got very mad at me because doing this exercise made her cry. And she too was like, I want things faster. I want more. I want to move. Where am I falling short? Again, all of those things are good and they're useful. And they're even more powerful to us when we have that counterbalance of, well, here is also how far I've come. And so that was a huge realization to her that she had at our last event, which I'm grateful for. So why is Diamond Day the best? Intimate connections that stick, best friends that are formed, made for life, real lessons, you know, the content. Yes, there are tactics. yes, here's the split test win that can make you a bunch more money. Yes, here's the social media marketing strategy. With because I could give you tactics out of the ass all day, but if you're stuck and you feel not ready and you feel not worthy, are you going to implement the tactic? And are you going to implement it over and over and over again? Are you going to be consistent? And so that fundamental work that actually creates a shift is one of the most important things to me in the world. And shared experiences that you'll never forget, like Paris Lampropoulos in legendary copywriter in an ice bath, yelling in pain, but then, you know, remembering that forever, being like, wow. And this is in my own backyard that you get to come to. And it's really personal to me. Sunset horseback riding that we do together. Some people were a little bit afraid of riding a horse. For others, it was just a lovely experience. And we're trying to get the horse to go faster. So just fun times that we all do together. Me crying occasionally, you know, if you're there to see that. Andre Norman making people laugh, changing lives. You got Paris back there, and he like real time critiqued some writer's copy. Premium IV therapy. We always do after our party night, because I asked myself, this was back when I was drinking, like, okay, it's the day after our great big party. What do I want? I want an IV. So everybody gets an IV. This is how we do it. And of course, optional. If you're afraid of needles, you don't have to do it, but they do tend to help everybody like feel really good the following day. So gathering in my house, it's Ari Sherry, beautiful Carolyn Gretton, you know, those two guys. Stefan and Luke, Matt Murphy, all the good uns, ATVing in the desert together. So, you know, you could go to a regular conference or you could come to Diamond Day, really, like the choice will end up being yours. So this should be blacked out, but price on the website right now, you'll see that the standard tickets, which include the 2 days in the conference room, are $3,000. VIP tickets, which include the biohacking day, IVs, and some adventure type stuff, that's $4,500. And the diamond ticket, which includes the 4th day, the implementation day, which my participants say, oh, you need the implementation day because it's how we integrate and develop your next 6-month plan to actually go out there and get things done. We have Emma who guides you through the ops involved. We have CPAs and attorneys if you need to guide you through tax, setting up LLC, structuring business partnerships. If you're a copywriter looking at claims, you know, whatever you need some of the best attorneys in the world for, they are there. And all of the dinners and parties that we do are all included in that, $6,000. For you guys, should you decide you want to be a part of this, for the next 72 hours, the diamond ticket, so this $6,000 ticket is available to you for $3,500, or you could get in right now for the initial installment of $888 and the other payments of that, which only comes out to like, I think $50 more in this if you want to do installments. So I will drop those links in the chat for you in just a moment. And for the first 5 people who take me up on what I hope is this like pretty good offer, your room at the beautiful Wigwam Resort is included. So you don't have to worry about, you know, booking a hotel room. We will take care of that for you. It's a beautiful 4-star resort. You're gonna have an amazing time. They have water slides, beautiful pool. So if you want to bring a husband or a kid or a nephew to just enjoy Arizona for a while and enjoy the property, they'll be totally covered because your room is covered. And for the first one person who takes me up on what and this doesn't matter if you do installments or the pay in full, your room is included, and 1 month of one-on-one coaching with me, weekly calls, and unlimited text message, email, whatever your preferred method of communication access is to me, where we will melt any blocks in your way. And I'll give you action steps and accountability to do the things you must do to get to the places you want to go. And that is a very real $10,000 a month value. Very few people do one-on-one coaching with me because I get emotionally very invested and I care a lot. But for whoever is feeling called to jump on this offer, you're the type of person I want to hang out with more. And so it is my honor and privilege and joy to make that available to you as well. So I am so glad that you guys think this is an incredible offer. The links are there. You will be hearing about it more, and the prices will go up, especially when I confirm that we're all going to ride in helicopters together at Diamond Day 4. Not a cheap excursion. So once that is inked, all of the prices are going up, or something of equivalent bouginess and value and fun. The prices will be going up and the bonuses will go away. Only so many rooms. I can only coach so many people. Blah, 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 scarcity, 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 not purely as a marketing tactic, but genuine, and whatever compels you guys to take the action, because you will fucking love it. It will change your life. It will be 4 days that you do not regret. Nobody does, because it's just so good and all of my heart and soul goes into it. So I will conclude. It still makes me uncomfortable, like, to pitch. I don't know if you guys could see that or not, but I feel it. Yeah, but how else will I get you guys in the room, right? And I want you guys to be there. It would make my life. So I pitch, I make my offer. Those links, I will delete them. Thank you. Thank you, Carolyn. I'm going to delete them in 72 hours. So Tuesday, Wednesday, at whatever hour is the 72nd hour, I'm going to delete them so that the urgency is real. And I would love to have you. And if there are any questions, you could always DM me and ask. I'm available for that. And I stopped sharing my screen, right? I'm also going to separately let you know what some upcoming classes include. If I can find my sheet that has them listed out. We're going to have Martha on. I'm going to be interviewing Martha so you guys get to know her more prior to the event. And she shares some of her incredible story about how not only was she the first woman to fly a fighter jet in combat, but she had to change the law to be able to do that because it initially, I suppose, was against the law to do that. And so she had to go to Congress and fight to get that law changed so that she could show up and serve our country. Pretty amazing story. I will wrangle Dan to be on with us. I'm going to do a really special presentation on public speaking and presenting and being seen either in person or on social media, how to gear yourself up, overcome any fears you may have about that, how to structure content that an audience will love, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm really excited about that presentation too. And now that I know the internet works, we should be pretty smooth sailing. I love and appreciate you guys so much. And I will see you all next week. Thank you for taking the time for the best part of the week, Mindset Mastery class with me. And I will see you next time. Bye, you guys.